I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's now 6 o'clock, December the 13th. This is the Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District. So we have a quorum. Director Portail, Director Gain, Director Schott, Directors Ward, and Ms. Aikenron are all present. Director Conley is absent. So we're now going to stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Director Ward,
Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you this evening, Lord, just thanking you for all that you do, Lord, and we just ask that your guidance be upon this meeting, Lord, and upon our county, Lord. Lord, we ask that those that aren't represented here, Lord, that you just protect them, Lord, our family members that aren't represented here, Lord, the community that's represented here, Lord. We just ask that your blessings go forth from us, Lord, in this board meeting, Lord. Ask that you help us to make wise decisions, Lord, and those that benefit Kinney County and this community of Brackettville. Lord, we thank you for all that you do. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. We got a nice crowd here today, so that's good. Glad to see everybody. We're going to start out with director and public comments. The comments will be limited to 3 minutes. So we're going to start off this with Darlene.
I was concerned because I saw a report about a Laredo contract for water out of Kinney and Valverde counties. I need to know if maybe y'all knew about that, if you'd seen it, the report. It's accessible, it's online. If you go to the Laredo website.
City of Moras?
Yeah, and then it's a 23 to 70 water plan for them. And their primary sources are out of Valverde and Kinney counties. And we're stressed enough, and I didn't know if anybody on the board had heard about it or had seen the report.
I haven't.
No?
I saw it. It was sent to me in a text message, and I had it researched.
Go ahead.
Basically, it's kind of a conflicting deal. I don't want to get into it too much, but what they had basically said is that it would be debunked, but I haven't heard anything about it.
I have a copy of it.
But they basically it listed as 45,000 acre feet in Kinney County, I believe.
But I think it's 25.
25,000 acre feet in Kinney County. And so that's what we've been working with, and with Dr. Bill on setting the MAG. That's why it's so important.
Well, he's mentioned in that report too.
But on the MAG, basically, what we're trying to do with the MAG is get it set up where the big exporters come in and they see the water that was allowed at an acre feet that is whatever it's at. What is it at, 75? Is it that high, 75,000 acre feet? Around that?
Yeah.
85, that it would set off of usage, that there would not be, and this is what he's been talking about, that there would not be a big developer come and say, well, all these water rights are permitted. We can step in and pump this amount of water from Kinney County because this is a permitted right that a landowner could sell or lease or whatever they get into. I'm not too sure on how that works, but that's why setting the MAG is so important, and that's what we've been working on for like the last 3 months. He's been mentioning it in every meeting, and then moving forward, we'll have that set up to where anybody that wants to come in a bulk quantity like that is shut down. Of course, the exported water in Kinney County, we're going to fight.
Well, your attorney said that if the water's out of the ground, it belongs to the landowner, and they can do whatever they want to with it. At one of the meetings recently, that you can't tell them they can't sell or transport their water. That's what Greg said.
No, but if you have to have a very
Once it's out of the ground, it belongs to them. So that's my concern is if we issue these massive permits, and Ellis, probably 3 years ago, stood right here and told the board, and most of y'all weren't on the board at the time, but you know, when are y'all gonna do something about your over permitting in this county? And, that's the issue. If you've permitted it, how do you pull it back?
But that was set back whenever you were on the board, wasn't it?
Well, no, I'd already resigned by that time.
Are you sure?
I wasn't on the board, I was a general manager when the negotiations took place in San Antonio at Rosenberg's office to settle that lawsuit. And the board member that was on the board had signed the agreement. What was his name? And then Miss Ward was the general manager at the time. President Lloyd Davis signed off on it, on the agreement.
But were you
And
general
that's a
manager or
record.
were you on the board?
Hmm?
Were you general manager or were you on the
I
board?
wasn't either, I already resigned.
And that was after Darling left.
Hmm?
That was after you left.
Yeah, I left.
Anyway.
Once they agreed to those massive permits, it was ridiculous. I mean, that's not what the board sitting at the hearings permitted. They heard the evidence, they issued the permits on the evidence they heard, pro and con, and then that was all done away with.
So we were thinking that setting the MAG would be an easier fight to establish what we want to do in conserving water, rather than
Unless you
one
get
of
sued.
right. Unless you get sued.
What's the MAG?
Managed available groundwater.
But
So-
may I ask something? So if, what I don't understand is
For years.
for why, why would you sell excess water if the rest or a partial or a lot of the county isn't taken care of? Why would someone do, isn't it more ethical or neighborly or whatever you want to call it, environmentally sound to, if the surplus water, instead of selling it, let it go. Let it go to other destinations that don't have the water on a somewhat regular basis.
I know when you get a bed and banks permit to pull water out of a creek or a river that belongs to the state of Texas, that you're issued a permit that you say you need to pull that water out, to do whatever you're doing with it, livestock, whatever. If you don't use a part of that permit, or if you don't ever use it, they'll pull it back. They give you a certain time to use that permit. If you don't, or if you only use a little bit of it, they'll pull that permit, because there's people downriver that need it. And you can't just suck it all up in a permit and never use it.
Well, in visiting about this, I think there's only one commercial permit in Kinney County.
No, you have Fort Clark, you
Well,
have
Fort Clark.
the school, and you have Alamo Village.
Alamo Village has a commercial permit?
Is that commercial?
Minute amount,
Right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Still had to be
There were
commercial.
3 commercial permits issued under the hearings. Those didn't, one changed.
I thought that there was another one besides those.
Not that I'm aware of, unless y'all done something to adjust the permits that were issued.
Well, we could, yeah, we could.
I'll research that, but the permittee told me that he had a commercial permit.
Who?
The permittee, I'm not gonna mention it.
Okay, so I thought you said a name.
Yeah, who?
I thought you said a name, I'm sorry.
Permittee,
Yeah, but.
Mr. Carter.
but I'll research it. But that, and I'm sure the board's with me on this, we are completely against any water leaving Kinney County, just like Ms. Christensen said. We need to keep what we got here,
Right.
and supplement what we got. But sadly, to answer your question, it's all about money.
I know.
It's all about
That's,
And the only way that I saw anything working for Laredo was if you did a pipeline, if they tried to do a pipeline, the thing that we would have to do is talk to other property owners and be like, we don't want a pipeline easement going through Kinney County. Then I thought about, well, if TxDOT got involved,
That's not their
277.
plan. That's not their plan.
What's the plan?
Put it in the river and run it down there.
And then that
There's a
would be
man
the other thing.
named Paul Littlejohn that way back had the same idea.
But which river? Well, not to.
What river?
mentioning any names.
The Rio Grande. No. Stick it in the Rio Grande River and run it down.
But they would still have to.
But that's
to get that
not
going.
legal. You can't take
But this
water that you produce on your land and put it in a waterway. That's against the water code. You can't run your water off your land. That's against the water code. Like the first or second section.
But I've looked into it, absolutely. I've been on it. We haven't had a meeting, I don't think, since then. Right,
So you're aware of
it?
it?
I don't think so.
You're aware of it?
Absolutely. I'm on it.
How long have you known
I'm not-
about it?
Darlene, would you send a link?
I'm on there.
To me.
Sure. You know it.
Would you please?
You've known?
I will.
Did you put that out 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago?
I posted, it's from the City of Laredo's website, it's their draft water plan, their plan, they say that they've been in conversations for over a year.
No, they said they've been investigating it.
Well,
And see,
Wes, I'm
We
gonna
wonder
respond to this
who,
one.
because nobody
Uh,
seems to know who.
They said that they've been in conversations for over a year with some group of landowners that have permitted water up to 25,000 acre feet. And that part of the plan is to
No idea.
pipe that, put it into the Rio Grande so that they can then get a permit from the Rio Grande to plumb
It
that
has
same amount of
maps
water
and it
out
has
of
the
the Rio Grande.
land.
But in order to get any water from Kinney County, there would have to be a pipeline to the Rio Grande.
Well, you can run it down
So,
Pinto
yeah.
Creek, you can run it down Sycamore, you can run it down
No,
Las
you can't
Moras.
because it's
And-
illegal.
Excuse me, who are you? Have you signed up to speak? Have you signed up to speak?
Come on.
Is it
Don't
your
the
turn?
guy you put the-
Is it your
Let's
turn?
not get in arguments.
Excuse me? Who is this?
Yeah.
Is he Darlene Shahan? I think that's who you called on.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's hard when you deal with
Keep
that kind
going.
of stuff. There's lots of tributaries that empty into the Rio Grande River way back when Laredo was first involved. No, Eagle Pass. They brought up the fact that we have a treaty to not interfere with the groundwater that's flowing or the creek water that's flowing out of the ground through natural springs, that we can't interfere with the flow of the Rio Grande River under a national treaty, international treaty with Mexico. If we stop the flow, like Pinto is stopped, we stop that flow because we're pumping too much. We stop that flow because we're pumping too much out of Las Moras or Sycamore, any of those. I mean, you're interfering with international boundaries, laws. Now, the water master in Laredo made us aware of that way back. So that's my concern. I didn't even know if most of the board members knew about it, plan.
But that's been out there for quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
long time.
And it came up when Jay Johnson was around.
Yes, yes.
And it fell
And then
apart.
there's
Was that
another one
15
after
years
him,
ago?
and-
Yeah,
20
he's
20 years ago?
yeah.
So it's not a brand new, it's not a brand new
No, but
thing.
it's resurfaced.
Yeah.
And now it's in Laredo's.
Yeah,
radar.
and people jump on the bandwagon to, whichever side to get everything fired
It's
up.
nothing new.
Yeah, no.
You can't just smile and say, oh, it'll go away. It's not.
No, it's a concern.
Because they have it printed on their,
Yeah. Somebody, several years ago.
Right, thanks, Darlene. Patricia Herrera.
Here's okay. Hi, my name's Patricia Herrera. My husband Ike, and first of all, I just want to thank you for filling the role in our community. It's really important, and I know 2024 is coming up, and a few of you are going to be ending your term here, and I just wanted to personally thank you for that. We appreciate it. So I'm a water protector. I'm Navajo. And to us, water is sacred. We pray to it every day. We bless it. And it's the reason why we moved to Brackettville several years ago. I was on your website and I was looking at your management plan. It's very good. On number 1 on there is your mission statement, and number 2 is your management plan. And the purpose of your management plan is to provide guidance to the district for managing groundwater on a sustainable basis for beneficial use that allows the capture of water flow without jeopardizing the availability of water to the county during extended periods of low rainfall and without unduly increasing frequency of natural cycles of spring and intermittent springs going dry. And I really feel that we can do more, we can do better. And us as a community, we can all do better. And I mean, I'm tired and I don't like it when I hear people saying you against us and us against you. We're the same community. And I would love to see the community more involved in this and more us being on the same level. I know, well, my main reason for coming up here is because I wanted to request that a drought contingency plan be placed on January's agenda. And I know that the city of Brackettville and Fort Clark Mud, we have a drought reduction for permit holders for the purpose of maintaining the levels of water in the reservoir and Las Moras Creek. But I feel like it should be applied to everyone equally, including the permit holders. So I want to ask, will the district consider putting on the agenda a drought contingency plan in January?
I think to answer your question, as far as it being on the agenda, I don't think it's something that's on our minds. It's going to be in the scheme of things when the committee gets together. So that's going to be one of the items that they're going to have to put together during this committee, which will be assembled of different people from Fort Clark Mud, or from the city of Brackettville, from the city of Spofford, some of the permit holders and stuff like that. They'll all be on that committee, and that's going to be one of the items they'll have to discuss. Now, what's going to come out of that, I don't know, but then it'll come back to the board committee here, and we'll make decisions on that. But I think it's important for those entities to work this out, to see what they can come up with. Because when you do a drought contingency plan like this, it's going to take everybody working together for it to make it to work. So everybody needs to be on the same page with it.
Exactly.
But that is definitely something that's going to come up. So we're not. It's not something that we put behind us, and we're not looking forward to what's going on. So that's definitely one of the main items on that agenda.
Yeah, thank you. I know that there's so many of us and we have a common goal and we can be proactive, because it's scary when, the Las Moras Creek is dry and the pool is empty, and it's in our control, and how can we help more?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
not just us, but, the community and the ranch owners and everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for your concern.
When might that committee be formed? When can we expect?
That's probably going to be coming up. We're really discussing it in January or February. As soon as this first committee's up, then the second one's going to pop up.
So we can expect it maybe February?
Maybe, somewhere in there.
After the last executive session from the last meeting, there was a deadline of January 1st I thought set regarding the Rules Committee.
Yeah.
That wasn't for the formation of the Rules Committee, and on the topic, it was a Rules Committee, which I think I understood, I can't speak for everyone else, but I thought that was gonna be to discuss the updates to the rules that were gonna happen, and the drought contingency plan would be a different subject entirely that I think everyone would benefit if we began that discussion sooner rather than later. So if it were on the agenda in January for the directors to discuss, then we wouldn't have to wait until February to even begin talking about it.
The thing of it is with this, so if you remember what I said then, the board members here are going to deal with a deadline January 1st. So, or 10th, or whatever it's coming up.
It's already
sometime in
on
January.
I thought
We
already
did
selected
that.
that it's done.
We did that.
So that part's been done. Now we have to select that committee, which is going to be made up of Fort Clark, City of Brackettville, Spofford, and all this other stuff. That needs to be set up.
That was voted on at the last board meeting.
So we still have to set the names of everybody needs to be put on there. We can do that in January, I think. So that'll be fine. David Palmer.
Thanks, Matt. Steve Palmer, addressed the board before, just a concerned citizen, just had a quick question today, not a whole lot of background or speech on my part, I'll keep it within the 3 minutes easily. But ever since I've been coming to these meetings, concerned about the creek and the county, there's been talk by multiple players about improving the data and improving reporting and problems with reporting and they're incomplete or they're, you know, whatever, only annually, monthly. And there was some movement and I thought Dr. Hutchison was talking about monthly information, monthly data. And the engineer was talking about how you could add a photo to the stuff. And I even asked if we could do photos and monthly reports. So I was just revisiting that and I was wondering, it's not on the agenda today. So I was wondering what the status of that is, you know, when will monthly reports with photos be implemented and enforced?
So we just closed on the 9th, our selection for the IT person. The IT person is gonna head that up starting in January and we'll get started with it. That was our plan. And
Okay.
I've said that 3 or 4 times.
And that's different than the tech that you're talking about?
IT tech person.
Okay,
so they're gonna do.
So that's the guy that can do meter reading or, you know, and do.
Guy or gal.
Whatever, yeah. Person, I'm just saying.
Yeah, the person that can do that.
Yeah, okay.
And so they'll be going out and doing that. The problem is, Mike, and Will had sent us an email about 155 wells. It's gonna take time to do that. So what we were gonna do is we were gonna prioritize for the public, the most used wells and get started with
Sure.
those.
Yeah, well,
The
that's
highest
the ones
usage wells
people are
and go
concerned
around
about.
and get a picture of those taken and everything else.
Okay.
We're just trying to get our employment ready to go
Sure,
because
okay.
these ladies got enough to do around here and so
Sure.
we're hoping that we would get that IT person started on the right foot.
Okay, and well, there was some question, maybe you could, you know, clarify that, but could the permittee just be told, send us a picture and do this every month?
The problem is that the trust part.
Sure, well, yeah.
There's, you know what I mean?
But
You
it's
want-
easier to trust a photo than a, you know, I pumped, you know, 5,000 gallons or whatever.
Unless they go take the picture the next day and it's pumped 100 gallons and they
I
send
don't
it
know,
in.
there is some problems. But,
It's
you
better
know,
to
but-
have a representative that's neutral to do it, I think. That's my personal opinion, but I would rather have somebody that's not in control of the pump because,
Right.
I mean,
And then, okay, so.
I think that it needs to be a neutral.
So that would be one way to make that happen. Is that gonna happen monthly or is it still gonna be a yearly thing? Cause I mean, we want, you know, we're trying to get, I thought the reports now are every January. Maybe I'm wrong, but is like, people now, I have a permit to have 2,000 acre feet of water or whatever. And then I turn my thing in by January X and I say in January, February, every month is on that annual report that I submit or I'm supposed to submit, maybe I don't. But is there, would you have to change the rules to require a monthly submission?
What we were talking about implementing is like if we're in a high drought time and a high water usage time, which coincide each other.
Which we are, yeah.
We would do those high usage wells. We can't revisit every well, 155 wells every month.
We would go get a reading.
We'd go get a reading and a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And break it down that way to where if you've got, 20 wells that are in use, high use, that's a lot easier to cover in a month than 155.
You're not gonna cover 150.
You're not gonna go,
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I'm not
it's such a
saying,
big
but,
county.
Yeah,
Does that
so,
make sense? So monthly, I would say, in times of drought, summertime, everything else, monthly,
it could be though, the board could discuss and take action on changing the rules to require the permit holders to tell you every month what they do. I thought that's what Dr. Hutchison wanted, but
It can be done, but what that does is we want to be transparent on everything. Does that make sense? We don't want any hostility saying that the permit holder is, manipulating the numbers, in other words. I would feel more comfortable if somebody got in a pickup that represented Kinney County and Kinney County Groundwater District and went out and just took a picture of the meter and made.
I don't know how the landowner would want it. You could ask some, that are on the board how they would rather have it, but, I don't know. I would rather tell you that I pumped 50 acre feet this month than have somebody come take a picture. And then if somebody says, I'm not sure that's right, then send your guy out.
Well, so you have a farmer who is strapped. You say that he's baling cotton or whatever they do now, or they're harvesting corn. It may slip his mind on a monthly basis.
But the fine might come to him if it slips his mind. I mean,
Yeah.
put it on his iPhone. I'm just saying. So that's my comment.
I mean, that's
I'm just trying to
fair
improve.
either.
I'm just trying to improve reporting. No, I think it is, but that's anyway. Enough. Thank you.
If I could say something, I thought, if we're talking about the transparency and so forth, I thought we were gonna endeavor to get pictures and readings off at least the biggest wells here at the end of the year. Is that not gonna happen? I thought Jim.
That would be good.
Yes.
Why couldn't we
It's
do
not
both?
all of them, but I thought we talked the last couple of 3 months about, trying to get at least the biggest one started, and then when this employee comes on, they, over the period of time, will do all of them and post it. Are we not gonna do the bigger ones here at the end of the year?
Okay, they will be reporting at the permittees will be reporting at the end of, like they have been, be reporting at the end of the year. Then by the end of January, we will go and
Yeah, you can't hear.
I thought we were gonna try to get pictures
There you go.
of some of the bigger ones
Thank you.
this month.
We
No,
are.
everyone.
We are?
no, but that did not happen. It will be by the end of January. Then we
Why
will go.
not this month?
There you go.
I thought, Jim, help me, I thought y'all were gonna take pictures.
Yeah, the intention is to try to get pictures and readings as frequently as we possibly
But I
can.
thought we were gonna start trying to get,
We've
year
started,
Yeah.
reality is today is December 13th and the end of the month is here in 2 weeks. We've got the Christmas holiday coming up next week.
We're only
and so
talking 20 wells, 15, aren't we?
I don't want to commit to say every one of those 20 is going to be done by the end of the month, but we're making every effort to get pictures and meter readings on as many wells as we possibly can. Your rules state that the permittees need to have their reports done and turned in. Janelle, help me, Miss Janelle, if I'm wrong, but by January 31st or 15th?
No.
The 5th, let's see, the 31st.
The 31st of June. So this last year, they're required to have everything submitted by then. Our goal was to try to get out and to get as many as we could by the end of January.
Okay.
Director Gaines, we were in an effort to try to get as many as we can.
Yeah, but,
The last time we
still,
were here.
we'll have a starting point
Yes, sir.
soon.
And some of them have already been done. Pictures have already been taken. We have a long way to go.
Okay. And will these be posted on the website?
Posted on the website and implemented in the app are two different things for discussion.
Yeah, either way.
Public knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not in a position to answer that question. I mean, I think your IT director Ward was talking to his IT folk.
I would like it public. I mean, just.
I mean, who
helps
owns that
everybody.
information? Yes, sir, I fully
The
understand.
public does.
Who's paying for it?
Just like you own the.
Was there a mention of some automated meter readers that would automatically send information to some database or something?
We did talk about that, and we may, and Jim had brought that up. We may do that in the future. In the future may be soon, but the idea was that for now, we'd rather spend our money on an employee that we can send around, and essentially do the same thing, but have an extra body. I don't know, to help us with a number of things. Yeah. We thought for the time being, our money was better spent, with a body instead of equipment. Plus, to do all the wells with the equipment is cost prohibitive. But an employee can certainly hit the big ones, quite often.
And we have certainly started to automatically and implement and through telemetry look at water levels on multiple wells. And we've got a number of those, including pumping wells. The rollout and the implementation, this is part of what we've been doing.
I have a question on that, yeah. Y'all came out, you came out and reinstalled the equipment that was taken out because we were not allowed to participate in one of the permit hearings. Because they didn't recognize our name, I guess. But you also installed some kind of instrument that we have pictures of on Pinto Creek at where the Pinto headwaters come
Yes,
up on
ma'am.
our, which they haven't been around for 5 years. But, I've heard comments that at the meeting up here at Fort Clark, that information is not going to be available. Is that not right?
That's incorrect.
Okay, all right. So are we gonna be, Tully and Darlene, are we gonna be able to look at the readings on our well that monitor above all the heavy pumping? And are we going to be able to see what's happening to our headwaters?
This is what Jason was asking about. You want the ability to log into our system and to see something. And right now, the system that's been set up by this district, you can't log in. You don't have a user in order to log in and to look at that.
So how do we get the information? Because I've been trying to get information.
Tully and I have spoken a number of times. I said, give me a call at any point and I will send you that information. I can log in and look. You have one, I am your IT user on that.
I mean, there's like 100 ways to share the information. The USGS sends me an hourly update of all the spring flows. They got graphs on their deal.
So we need to call
It
you
absolutely
directly?
would not cost $7,000 a year to provide a tiny bit of data.
You and I have spoke about this already. The system that we've set up does not allow for multiple users right
I
now.
don't need a user. How about an email? How about you write it to a Google Drive? How about you send anything?
All
There's
of-
100 ways.
Okay, you asked me this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what I've done in order to accommodate that. Ms. Vale and I have spoken. We're trying to accommodate that.
Are you? I haven't heard that. I'm the one that asked you.
And hey, you know, we're
All right,
not
I'll
gonna
talk
sit
to
here
Ms.
and
Vale
argue.
then, sir. Very
So,
good.
Let me, Darlene, let me go back. We're still under public comments. I wanna finish this. If y'all wanna discuss these other matters, you can. These are not agenda items. I don't wanna get into, the discussions are going everywhere right now. And this is over with. So all I want is comments. Let's finish this, get through this. If y'all have anything that y'all need to discuss on another matter, then, y'all can do it.
But on his comment, I'm also concerned that we can be able, at some point in time, in this community, after 20 years, that we can access the information y'all are paying so much money for.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that.
Unbelievable.
If it's not on the agenda, put it on on the January agenda about photos, well readings, and public access. If it's not on the agenda, let's put it on the agenda.
Please. When can we expect?
And, you know, we can have a discussion then.
That'd be
Well,
fine.
we've just discussed this.
No, put it on the
Discuss
agenda,
it.
if that's the holdup.
I'll just put it on there. Sharon, Katie?
Most of my questions been answered already, kind of, but this will kind of just sum everybody's questions together, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
My name's Sharon Katie, I live on the fort. And first I want to thank the district for their consideration of hiring a field technician and purchasing improved equipment for measuring the Los Moras spring flow. I also want to confirm that the monthly spring flow and pumping data collected by the district will be made available to the public, which we've been discussing. Also, I'm asking on behalf of myself and Kinney County, as a Kinney County resident, that monthly pumping and spring flow data be posted on a district website, updated monthly, and also ask that maybe published in the newspaper, because it's public information that everybody should be able to have. And the main question about all this is, when can we expect the monthly pumping and spring flow data be posted for the public?
Is that it?
Good.
An answer?
There's one left out there.
Thank you.
This will just be as I have my line.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your concern.
Thank you.
Tonight or tomorrow?
Well, actually,
Was there an answer to the last question?
Yes, thank you.
When can we expect it? It's on the bottom.
No, we don't have no answers for that right now.
I thought we kinda answered it in the previous one, we're training up a tech, I mean, we're trying to hire them just as quick as we can, to do that. I mean, that's the whole goal of this, and then like tonight, I get shot down and I think, do we even need to hire a tech, because nobody's happy with having somebody to do that, and I'm like, what are we doing here, because I feel like we're taking steps.
happy to have somebody do that, we just wanna know when we're gonna get some information on a regular basis, I think that's.
As soon as they get in place, I mean, as soon as we can get them out in the field, I'm ready. I push for this thing. I mean, I'm pushing for this thing. I'm trying as hard as I can, but it's just gonna take another 30 to 60 days to get somebody trained up, get them in the field, show them where the wells are. I mean, it takes time.
There's an answer, 30 to 60 days.
Are you still taking apps? Are you still taking applications?
No.
No, it closed tonight.
Okay.
So,
well, Will Conley, David actually did a great job of running through what my questions were going to be. They were going to be centered around, the agenda item for taking photos. And I agree. I think you're doing a great job of getting a tech in place to do that. I didn't realize that we were already taking pictures. So I think there was maybe some confusion on folks didn't know that there's somebody already out there taking pictures. And whether we're going to get all the wells or portions of wells, so understanding that better is helpful. But I think it's great that we've already started that process, and that we're understanding that and getting some communication on that. But I think that was well covered. So I really don't have anything more on that. But I guess one question was on the stakeholder meeting. Matt, we went through that there's going to be several different representatives on that, but we didn't say a downhill or a downstream landowner. Obviously, there's a big impact on downstream landowners, so I just wanted to confirm, is there going to be downstream landowner representation also included in that group of stakeholders?
Yes, I would hope there is.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next item on the agenda. Is there any any comments from the director? We'll move on to item number 5. We'll discuss and possible action approval of minutes for the November review.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the table.
Second.
And a second, I've got a second by Mr. Bartell. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Move to the next item on the agenda, discussion, possible action, which is approval of the November financial statements.
Total income for November, $41,369.70. Year to date, $264,696.63. November expenses, $45,406.21. Year to date, $74,869.88.
Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any further discussion on the item? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Move on to the next item. Review monthly officers report. This is just a review item. Is there any questions on anything? I'll move to the next item on the agenda. Number 8, which is discussion possible action approval of invoices received and invoices paid. Anybody got any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve and accept the invoices that are presented. Okay.
Okay, a motion on the table.
No, second.
You got a second? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move to item number 9, which is review the Texas Drought Index. Does anybody have any questions or regarding any of this?
No.
I'm gonna move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the general manager report on daily activities and upcoming events.
Since the last board meeting, we've had 3 exempt well applications submitted. Normal day-to-day operations going on. I will end my time to Mr. Burton, who came in if he has anything he wants to address. No.
No, that's fine.
I do know that in the next couple of days, we'll be doing installs, or not we, he and Carlos will be doing install at the Fort Clark Spring and also at the mud well. And along with some other work that they have lined up for a couple of days that they're here. And we head down to Fort Stockton. Take this opportunity to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, safe and Happy New Year.
Ms. Janelle, maybe I will say something. Since the last meeting, we have done installations at both the city of Brackettville. And so there's city well number 2 here that is a pumping well, as well as the city well 1 that's at the yard there. Those are both instrumented also.
You're gonna be able to make one fit in the mud well too?
Yes, sir.
You figured it out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that was part of the specialty equipment that y'all approved a couple meetings ago. It's a little blur right now, but yeah, a couple meetings ago, and it will fit. We met with Randy, and we should be good to go tomorrow.
That's good. Anybody got any comments or anything? So, at this time, we're gonna recess for executive session. Discuss the employee matters. All right, we're back in session. It's now 8:03 p.m. And we're gonna consider and take possible actions on matters deliberated and discussed during executive session. Do I have a motion? Any of the directors on item A, which is employees year-end bonus COLA.
I make a motion pertaining to matters in Article A only. I make a motion to approve a one-time salary increase for the 2 district employees in the amount of $500 each for the month of December 2023 only, along with a COLA increase for both employees in the amount of 3% for the coming year.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, I have a second. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, do I have a motion for item number B, which is consider possible action hiring a field technician?
I make a motion that we extend an offer to the, candidate number one, leading candidate as discussed, as discussed in executive session under, the salary, and benefits as discussed in executive session.
Okay, I'm gonna, add on to that, this person isn't hired yet, so it's upon their acceptance.
Yeah, the motion just to extend the offer.
Alright. So,
I'll second.
alright, I've got a motion, I've got a second. Is there any further discussion on it?
Richard, did you second?
Yes. Is there any further discussion on it?
May we ask a question?
No, ma'am, not right now. Alright, let's take a vote on it.
I'm gonna abstain from the vote.
I vote yes.
I'm gonna, let the record reflect that Director Warren abstained. Other directors, yea or nay?
Yay.
Alright, everybody else is in favor. Motion passes. Okay, that's all the items that we had for executive session. Now I'm gonna move to item number 12, which is adjourn. Do I have a motion?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor? Motion passes. And now adjourn at
8:06.
8:06. Thanks, everybody.